From the Great North Woods to the Rockbound Coast and streaming live in HD worldwide at foxbangor.com. More people choose Good Morning Maine.
Hello everyone. Today on Good Morning Maine, a beloved and historic Hancock County business was lost in a fire over the weekend. We'll learn more about how the community stepped in to help.
Plus, there's some big news regarding the Bangor Mall property. The mall seems to have a buyer.
And Habitat for Humanity welcomed an Oakland couple into their brand new home. We'll have that story coming up as well. Good morning and welcome to Good Morning Maine. I'm Janessa Bishop.
And I'm Craig Colson. Thank you for joining us this morning. Boy, we have a lot to tell you about. There was a big meeting in Waterville last night concerning a new Amazon warehouse. There was also a fatal crash in Newport. And we'll be making some pizzas this morning, too.
We are. We're going to be joined by the general manager of Uno's, and we're going to do a little tutorial here on the desk, so it'll be fun.
Fantastic. That sounds fun. All right, but first to check that forecast, and it looks like the rain and the freezing rain and all that is finally moving out of the area this morning. It was kind of a slippery start to the day, but it should be quiet the rest of the day. Just clouds ahead.
We'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winter weather advisory that will last until 11 a.m. Wednesday for the counties. Highlighted here in the purple shade, some slippery roadways will be expected with a little bit of snow and some other frozen precipitation such as sleet and freezing rain passing through. We also have a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards our Thursday along the coast. Some high surf currently taking place too. Meanwhile, with the radar and satellite, you can see the frozen precipitation, snow to the north, and other spots seeing some freezing rain. As we do move forward, we'll have some warmer temperatures, which will allow things to improve. The last of the precipitation will be passing through this morning. As we do zoom things out, there is a last of it, so we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky coming up for the rest of the day as all of this tracks off towards the east. So futurecast moving forward, just clouds for the rest of the day. Later on tonight, not looking too bad. Then as we head towards your Thursday, looking pretty good as well. So your hourly forecast moving forward, we'll have clouds for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
Thank you, Devin. We'll look forward to that. Well, first this morning, a man from New Hampshire has died following a collision last night in Newport. Maine State Police say it was just after 11:30 last night when the crash happened in the northbound lanes. They say the driver of a Chevy Volt had stopped in the travel lane of the interstate when his vehicle was struck from behind by a tractor-trailer truck. The crash killed 33-year-old Juan Golpa of Leominster, New Hampshire. The driver of the tractor-trailer suffered minor injuries and was taken to the Sabaticook Valley Hospital for treatment. At this time, troopers say it remains unknown why Golpa was stopped in the travel lane.
Well, meanwhile, a man from Stetson has gone on trial for an alleged murder that happened nearly 40 years ago. Mark Karen is accused of sexually assaulting and murdering an 11-year-old girl in Connecticut back in 1986. Karen is charged with murder, kidnapping, and murder with special circumstances in the death of Kathleen Flynn of Norwalk. Police say the sixth grader was reported missing on September 23, 1986, and was later discovered in the woods. An autopsy revealed she had been sexually assaulted and strangled. Karen was 21 years old at the time of Kathleen's death. News 12 reports that similar convictions and advancements in DNA technology led police to arrest Karen in June of 2019 at his residence here in Maine. They say it's taken years for the case to go to trial, in part because of federal charges that were also brought against him. The trial, which began Monday, is anticipated to take up to 3 weeks. If convicted, the now 60-year-old faces the possibility of life without parole.
Meanwhile, a Bangor man is facing charges after police got a call about a man being injured with a bow. Bangor Police spokesperson Katie England says it happened at a residence on Sydney Street around 8:30 p.m. on March 29th. England says when officers arrived, they found a man with significant but non-life-threatening injuries to his face. She says officers determined he had been injured when 55-year-old Scott Talbot of Bangor came over to sell him a compound bow and allegedly struck him in the face with the end of that weapon. The victim was transported to a hospital to be treated. England says officers located Talbot and the bow that was allegedly involved. He is being charged with aggravated assault with a dangerous weapon.
Over the weekend, a beloved and historic Hancock County business was lost to a fire. But instead of a story about tragedy, our Alex Schley tells us why town officials say it's instead one that showcases the power of community.
Tuesday, the sign outside the Open Hearth Inn in Trenton read, "Your home away from home." For more than a century, residents say that's exactly what it's been. A place of comfort for them and the thousands of visitors who have spent a night there over the years.
Mr. O'Sullivan's whole theory was, do what you can for the community and they'll stand by you, and that's kind of been the case. We had a power outage one Christmas for 4 days. He put people up, He's done stuff like that constantly for the community.
But just after 3 o'clock Saturday morning, the long-standing landmark along Route 3 caught fire.
When we got there, the middle section of the building was significantly involved. Automatically, we have 4 fire departments showing up.
Okay.
When we identified that I'm going to need more resources, I'm going to need more water.
In a town without fire hydrants, fire crews rely on tankers to shuttle water.
We could see the size of the facility, the amount of fire that would, how much it was spreading. We called for additional tankers.
And just like the inn's owners had done for them, in a time of crisis, the community showed up.
Pretty much everybody in Hancock County. And then in the meantime, we have a lot of those departments are backfilling and covering for the departments that are already committed. Yeah. So it was a major fire service community effort to make sure that we had the resources we needed.
Despite the massive response, officials say the building is a total loss.
According to the fire marshal's office, they believe it was electrical in nature.
The owner was not available for comment. However, the staff says they do plan to rebuild. But when and what that will look like remains to be seen. In Trenton, Alex Schley for ABC 7 and Fox 22 News.
A new poll shows Graham Plattner has the lead in the Democratic primary for U.S. Senate. The poll by Emerson College shows Plattner with 55% and Janet Mills with 28%. 13% of those polled were undecided. In hypothetical general election matchups, both Plattner and Mills have an edge over incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins. Between Plattner and Collins, 48% support Plattner and 41% support Collins. In a matchup between Mills and Collins, 46% would vote for Mills and 43% for Collins.
We'll have to wait till the primary to see how it all lands. Well, Maine Republican lawmakers say there's no transparency and many deficiencies in Maine state government. During their weekly press conference, they talked about the findings of the 2025 Single-Use Audit Report. House Minority Leader Billy Bob Falkingham said 10 out of 13 programs have problems, including Medicaid, SNAP, and child nutrition.
If this was a reading proficiency test, they wouldn't be getting a C or a D or even an F. They wouldn't even know the alphabet. That's how bad this state government is performing.
Falkingham said the audit found 29 cases of dead people who are still getting benefits 75 days after their death and 88 nursing home audits required by federal and state law that never happened.
A bill before lawmakers could change what optometrists are allowed to do. LD 1803 would amend Maine law and provide a more detailed explanation of optometry. Under current law, they are not allowed to do surgical procedures, but this bill would change that. Members of the Maine Society of Eye Physicians and Surgeons said eye surgeries are complex and it would put patient safety at risk.
Supporters argue that expanding surgical scope of optometry is necessary to improve access to care in Maine, but LD 1803 is part of a national push to authorize optometric surgery rather than a solution driven by Maine-specific needs. Fewer than half of U.S. states permit optometric eye surgery, and none of those states are in New England.
They say a survey found 75% of eye physicians and surgeons in Maine are able to offer a consultation within a month. They also say there would be no increase in cataract surgeries, treatment for macular degeneration, or routine eye care.
Now there's some big news happening involving the Bangor Mall property. According to Senator Joe Baldacci, the mall has a buyer. We spoke with Baldacci yesterday afternoon via text, and he confirmed that the property is now under contract and in final negotiations with a local buyer. Namdar Realty Group has owned that property since 2019, and since then they've been under scrutiny for various violations of city ordinances, which ended with the group in court multiple times. There is currently no timeline on how the deal will move forward. We will certainly keep you updated as things progress. I think a lot of folks around here would be excited to hear that some new life will be breathed into the Bangor Mall.
Yeah, some big news.
We'll have to wait and see what happens.
Well, the time now is 8:10. Coming up next on Good Morning Maine, the town of Vesey is in the spotlight with their community school winning a big award.
We'll hear from them coming up, but first, another check of that forecast. It looks like all the rain and wintry mix is coming to an end now. Otherwise, it will be a mostly cloudy day ahead with highs near 48 degrees. Mostly cloudy tonight with lows dropping down to around 33. Again, mostly cloudy tomorrow, highs around 45 degrees. We'll be back right after this.
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
At Spectrum, we believe a great connection shouldn't come with compromise. And now, it doesn't have to. Get Spectrum fiber-powered internet. And when you add 2 mobile phone lines, it's just $30 a month each. Experience the fastest internet and most reliable 5G network. And save $1,000 on internet and mobile in your first year. Guaranteed. That's the Spectrum Savings Guarantee. Call now or go online to save $1,000 on internet and mobile.
Bob's is bringing the wow back. You can wait for a sale price, or you can get wow-worthy prices every day at Bob's. Like this Play-Day sectional for just $7.99, delivered in days. Or this real marble dining set in 2 finishes. And with our everyday low prices plus flexible financing options, your tax refund goes further at Bob's.
And with tons of styles ready to ship and old furniture removal, you can get your furniture fast and easy.
Wow! Oh my Bob!
Paramount Paving, Maine's go-to for all your paving and seal coating. Paramount Paving offers commercial and residential paving and seal coating services throughout eastern and central Maine. Give us a call for a free estimate today. Paramount Paving. When it comes to paving, we are Paramount.
It's back, Bangor! The Greater Bangor Area Music Showcase returns with the fan favorite Music Off-Broadway. Join Roger George and his talented musicians for an unforgettable show, all to support Rotary's work in our local community. Saturday, April 11th at 7 p.m. and Sunday, April 12th at 3 p.m. Getting your tickets is easy. Just scan the QR code on your screen. Bring your friends, bring your family, and enjoy a show that makes a difference. Don't miss it.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, here's some great news. The town of Vesey has a lot to be proud of this morning. The Vesey Community School has been named the best elementary middle school in the entire country. Education Insider Magazine is an international publication, and they chose the Vesey School as this year's winner. Principal Tim Tweedy says they were very surprised because they didn't even know they were in the running.
I'm sure that there's a lot of nice schools out there that are, also deserving of the award. But for us, it's just a little validation of the hard work that I see every single day.
Tweedy says it's not just about test scores. He says they also find ways to bring the community and the region into the school, as well as taking the students out to experience learning. Tweedy says it was has always been their goal to make the school a place where students want to be.
Residents in Blue Hill are expected to vote on whether to fund work related to the design, construction, and relocation of a new public safety building. The Blue Hill Fire Department and Peninsula Ambulance Corps seek to renovate and relocate to the town-owned Tenny Hill site. The project would also include the construction of an additional apparatus bay. The vote will take place during the annual town meeting on Saturday. According to town officials, a yes vote would authorize the town treasurer and chair of the select board to issue more than $1.5 million in general obligation bonds for the proposed project. The fire department is welcoming the community to tour their current station ahead of the vote and learn why they believe the relocation is needed during an open house on Thursday from 4 to 6 p.m.
A couple in Oakland received a special welcome home yesterday as they were handed the keys to their brand new home, all thanks to a local nonprofit. The home, built on Jake's Lane, is courtesy of Habitat for Humanity, an organization that helps families build and improve homes. According to the executive director of the Waterville area Habitat for Humanity, over 300 volunteer hours went into building that property for locals Charlie and Katie.
The family, they're local in this area. Charlie and Katie. Charlie's actually a veteran. Katie, I love what she does. So the organization she works for, she actually helps other people in this community. And so I love that finally she gets a turn, you know, and she gets help. Part of it.
The project took roughly 3 years to complete. Irwin says this is now the 7th home the organization has built in that area. I just love that program.
Yeah.
You know, they're not giving free homes away either.
Right.
You know, they're making it possible for people.
People take so much time to volunteer their work and put them into those homes.
They help to build it. They get a low income. They have to pay off a loan,
right,
but it's something affordable for them
yeah,
that otherwise you couldn't get a home these days.
That's awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, we'll turn things over to meteorologist Devin Biggs for a look at the forecast.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. That winter weather advisory will be dropping at around 11 a.m. this morning. We've had snow further off towards the north with other frozen precipitation such as freezing rain and sleet in other spots, rain further down toward the south as well. Also a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday along the coast. Meanwhile, wave heights active at around 4 feet according to the buoys and a little bit higher farther off towards the north and east, while even farther out towards sea at around 8 to 12 feet. So the ocean definitely active out there as we head towards this morning. On land, you can see the frozen precipitation and the not so frozen precipitation. We have snow to the north, and there's that wintry mix of primarily sleet and freezing rain. Some normal rain could be mixing in as well, and perhaps a little bit of snow. All this right now is tracking off towards the east, so throughout the morning into the afternoon, things will begin to calm down, and the day will be improving, especially as temperatures warm up. So once we get this through, we'll see things improve before we get more activity moving in. But meanwhile, Futurecast moving forward. Again, we're going to get this out of here. We'll have some improvement lasting for a bit. But later on, as we head towards your Friday, here we are with more activity Friday morning. Another wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow on the way for the state. This will be switching over to all rain as temperatures warm. But we won't get this out of here until about Saturday before things finally begin to improve. A little bit of snow farther off towards the north, but of course, ice will be another potential with this system. So again, we will need to keep an eye on this system. So there's that snow potential, but it will be primarily to the north at this point. But again, we will be monitoring that system as well. Upper 40s today, the wintry mix will be ending, will be mostly cloudy with that north wind at around 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-20s under a mostly cloudy sky and that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, mid-40s, still mostly cloudy, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Good Friday, a wintry mix switching over to all rain with highs in the upper 40s. Upper 40s again for your Saturday under a mostly cloudy sky. Easter Sunday, a chance for rain, highs in the mid-50s.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Foggy's Pub, your place for fun, food, and friends in Palmyra, Maine.
Jonathan Bush. He's a battle-tested trailblazer who's created over 900 jobs in Maine.
The jobs that Jonathan brought to Belfast were really transformative for so many families.
Now Bush wants to shake up Augusta. He'll slash wasteful spending and cut property and income taxes. A $1 billion tax cut for hardworking Mainers.
Jonathan is a big thinker with big ideas, but he actually makes them happen.
I'm Jonathan Bush. I look forward to earning your vote.
You want to file free? Hit it. Don't wait. File before 4/15.
I'm Deborah Norville, and this is The Perfect Line. Arrange these holidays, these historic firsts, these animals. By the way,
I have no idea.
Weekdays at 10 on Fox 22.
At Old Town Redemption Center, we are always ready to help with any fundraisers or bottle drives. We are here to help our community. Like and follow us on Facebook for upcoming weekly holiday giveaways and our monthly $100 drawing.
Alrighty, everyone, welcome back. We're joined by Mike Deneen, who's the general manager at Uno's, and today he's going to take us through a little mini class on how to make your deep dish pizza.
And we're doing this because we've got a holiday coming up this weekend, right?
Yes, it's National Deep Dish Day this Sunday, which is also Easter, but to celebrate it, we're going to do a deep dish cooking class on that Saturday. Yep.
Awesome.
Yep.
So what's our first step here?
So, unlike most pizza places, our pizza's made a little bit backwards. So most places you put the sauce on first.
Right.
Not at Uno's.
Okay.
First things first is we're gonna do cheese, and if you can imagine, it's both those bowls of cheese except for just a little bit. Leave a little bit in one of the bowls.
Something to put on the top.
That's 3 cups of cheese that we're putting in this deep dish pizza, this regular size 10-inch deep dish pizza.
And this is just regular mozzarella?
That's regular mozzarella that goes in our deep dish. Yep.
All right. Easy peasy.
Here we go. How much of the second cup would you say to keep in there?
2 tablespoons, if you want to be real specific, is how much you leave in there for the top.
All right. Okay. I like cheese too.
And it's all freshly shredded at Uno's every single day. This is not pre-shredded cheese that we buy. It's stuff that we grind up.
Awesome. So that look good?
Looks perfect.
Okay, what's our next step?
Next step is the sauce.
Okay.
So I only brought one of our little ladles with us, so you guys can just sort of sprinkle it on a little bit, and then you can,
I'm gonna use this if you don't mind.
Yep. And then we can spread it around, with the ladle afterwards.
Awesome.
I like how
I do this at home.
That's why we put these gloves on.
Yeah, exactly.
I do it when I cook at home. I get my hands right in there.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. Well, look at that.
Look at this thing. These are looking pretty.
Not
both of them.
too bad, Beautiful, huh?
You guys have a second job if you want it. All right. So the next step is the toppings. So I brought specific toppings for each of you, but there's enough of those toppings that where you can kind of get off you know, what you think you might like. So I have bacon, pepperoni, and mushrooms.
Little this.
And some peppers and onions.
Awesome.
Little this, little that.
I know. I might just kind of take a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
Why not?
Load it right up there.
This smells really good too already.
Yeah.
You guys hiring over there?
You know, we're always hiring. So,
okay.
like I said, if you want a side gig, we got something for you.
All right.
Onion.
A little onion, yep.
Yep.
What we got? Salt and pepper there?
Oh, no, it's not salt and pepper. I'm going to get to that. That's our secret ingredients.
Okay.
But that's not going to go on quite yet.
All right. I got to put a few pepperonis on there, too.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Can't forget the pepperoni.
No, that's like the most important ingredient. There. I think that looks. How would you judge this? Does this look presentable?
I would give it a solid 9.5.
Perfect.
So it looks great.
So we're doing good.
Pretty little pizzas.
Yes.
Yep.
All right.
So now, some of that cheese that you left in one of those blue bowls, just sprinkle that on the top. It's supposed to be 2 tablespoons if we want to get specific.
Well, I might have left a little too much.
I put probably a little more, but
that's okay.
I like the cheese, so.
And then finally, this little ramekin that you talked about, this is our secret ingredient that we add on every one of our pizzas. It's called 80-20.
80-20.
It's 80% Romano cheese and 20% oregano.
All right.
Okay, we just sprinkle this on the top?
Sprinkle that right over the top, yep.
Okay.
Just adds a little flavor.
Adds a little extra flavor, yes.
And this is, correct me if I'm wrong, this is the
looks
Chicago deep dish,
This is the Chicago
right?
deep dish, yes.
Okay.
And we're the inventors of it.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Uno's invented deep dish pizza, so
Well, I'm going to hold this up real quick. I don't know if anyone can see it, but woo, that looks
pretty good.
Pretty good,
Yeah.
I would say. But yeah, so
Look at that pretty
You guys did
pizza
a great
right
job.
there.
We
Yeah.
did pretty good,
Yeah.
Craig, I would say. So when
And aprons are still pretty clean, so.
Well, that's a plus too. Well, Mike, when we come back from this segment, we're going to talk to you again more about the history of Unos and a little bit more about the event coming up.
Great.
There's a chance for people to come and do the same thing, right?
Yeah, exactly. Plus a few extra things, so it's fun.
All right.
Awesome.
All right.
We'll be right back.
Fires, floods, burst pipes. Disasters happen, but the mess they leave behind doesn't have to last. For 40 years, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration has been there to help Mainers get back to the closest to normal as they can. When your property is at its worst, Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration is at their best, and they have been for 4 decades. Put your trust in the Bouchard team. Bouchard Cleaning and Restoration. You keep the memories, we'll handle the rest.
It's mowing season. And Bad Boy Mowers has the best lineup in the game. Built to win with more power, advanced engineering, and performance that never quits. Whether you're playing on this field or this field. So this mowing season, raise your game and join the team. Bad Boy, mow with an attitude.
When Blazing Trails located in Lincoln want to know the local forecast, they log on to foxbangor.com. Blazing Trails is Lincoln's #1 trusted dispensary, providing outstanding product and customer service to Eastern and Central Maine.
Make Easter moments magical with the Gold Bunny from Lindt.
When you have everything you need to unlock your best workout, like free fitness training and best-in-class equipment, you can give everything you've got, all for just 1 cent down. Get stronger with free fitness training at Planet Fitness. Join for 1 cent down, $15 a month. No commitment. Deal ends Friday, April 10th.
You ready?
Planet Fitness. We're all strong on this planet.
Welcome back, everyone. Well, President Trump will address the nation tonight. The White House says he'll provide an important update on the war with Iran. There are new signs on both sides that the end may be in sight. ABC's Olivia Rubin has the details.
This morning, President Trump with this new timeline to end the war in Iran.
I would say that within 2 weeks, maybe 3, we're hitting them very hard. I think we're 2 or 3 weeks. We'll leave.
In an apparent reversal, Trump saying the U.S. is prepared to leave Iran, even if the Strait of Hormuz is still closed to most ships.
We'll be leaving very soon, and if France or some other country wants to get oil or gas, they'll go up through the Strait and Hormuz Strait. They'll go right up there, and they'll be able to fend for themselves.
Iran's president also suggesting the end is in sight, saying we possess the necessary will to end this conflict, while calling for security guarantees. It comes after the U.S. attacked an Iranian military complex using multiple 2,000-pound bunker buster bombs. The Pentagon saying B-52 bombers are now flying deep into Iran, a sign that Iranian anti-aircraft systems are severely weakened. And more than a month into this conflict, Secretary of State Marco Rubio posting a video explaining why the administration decided to go to war, still trying to make the case to the American people.
Many Americans are asking, why did the United States have to attack Iran now? Well, let me explain. Iran wants to have nuclear weapons. Of that, there is zero doubt.
Despite that progress, Iranian officials now threatening to target American companies in the Middle East. And right here at home, gas prices still rising, though President Trump insists they will come back down when the war is over. Olivia Rubin, ABC News, Washington.
Meanwhile, Israeli police officers gathered at a debris site in Tel Aviv on Wednesday morning after Israeli authorities said the city was impacted by a missile strike as the U.S.-Israeli war against Iran rages on. The Israeli Emergency Response Unit reported several injuries from the recent strike in its country, but did not provide further details on the locations. There were also no immediate reports of fatalities from Israeli authorities. Israel's military said air defense systems were operating to intercept threats as well. U.S. President Donald Trump and Secretary of State Marco Rubio said the end of the war on Iran could be near, Washington signaling potential for both direct talks with Tehran's leadership and a winding down of conflict even without a deal. The remarks underscored the shifting and at many times contradicted timelines and statements from Washington about how the war, now in its fifth week, may come to an end.
Well, President Trump is taking executive action in an effort to change the rules for mail-in voting. And he's also looking to create a national list of eligible voters, and legal challenges are already looming. Lionel Moyes has more.
This morning, President Trump has signed an executive order aimed at cracking down on mail-in voting. It would create a federal list of citizens eligible to vote and would change how mail-in ballots are processed. Trump, while signing the order, repeated unfounded claims of election fraud.
It's horrible what's gone on, and it's very clearly covered, very, very clearly. So I think this will help a lot with elections.
The order would change the design of mail-in ballots to require barcodes from the Postal Service on envelopes to make them easier to track.
If you voted by mail, you will have it on the envelope. Obviously not on the ballot, but on the envelope. So we will know 1 million mail-in ballots. There'll be 1 million envelopes, and you'll be able to know exactly, correctly, that citizens voted.
Each state would also have to provide a list of eligible voters receiving mail-in ballots at least 60 days before an election. If they don't comply, they could lose federal funding. Critics are already promising to challenge Trump's order in court. The ACLU saying the Constitution is very clear. Only Congress and the states can make laws regarding our elections. Senator Chuck Schumer saying, see you in court, you will lose.
I don't see how they can challenge it. And remember, it's about voter integrity. We want to have honest voting in our country, because if you don't have honest voting, you can't have really a nation.
Meanwhile, another move by the Trump administration is making headlines, this time related to the investigation of anti-Semitism on college campuses. A judge is allowing the administration to collect a list of Jewish employees at the University of Pennsylvania. Reaction was swift online, critics expressing concern about where that list of Jewish names could end up. The university now plans to appeal. The University of Pennsylvania says it's committed to confronting anti-Semitism, but says it does not maintain employee lists by religion. Lionel Moyes, ABC News, New York.
Well, coming up on the second half of the newscast, we'll be joined once again by Uno's general manager to discuss National Deep Dish Pizza Day celebrations.
I think it might be one of my new favorite subjects.
I think so.
That's coming up after the break.
I found the University Studies program, and the people were fantastic, and they helped me understand how I could really pretty easily become part of UMaine, become part of that program, and showed me that within about 2 years, I could have my degree. What I like about being able to study anywhere is probably this. I can literally be outside on the deck. I can be in my house. I can be in another country doing my schoolwork, and it just works really well for my for the life that I have.
Fox Sunday. The biblical 3-week event continues.
My own sister, you've broken my heart.
With the final powerful story of the Bible's most legendary women.
God has a destiny for us all.
The epic finale of The Faithful this Sunday on Fox.
You're watching Fox 22, Bangor.
Welcome back to Good Morning Maine. Today is Wednesday, April 1st, 2026, which of course is also April Fool's Day.
This is a day when many of us unleash our most creative sides in an attempt to bamboozle those around us. There's no consensus on how it all began, but it's believed it has to do with the Julian calendar, which saw every year begin on April 1st. Now it's a day to come up with safe and playful pranks to have a little fun with those around us.
So get ready for some hijinks at work or in school today.
Oh, I'm sure the schools. Yeah, definitely in the schools.
Could be a fun day. Again, just keep it safe.
Safe
Don't do
and
anything
playful.
crazy.
Yes.
But, all right. Time for some history. It was on this date back in 1748. The lost Roman city of Pompeii was rediscovered by a Spanish engineer. In 1891, the William Wrigley Company was founded in Chicago and became best known for its juicy fruit gum. In 1945, on this date, American forces launched an amphibious invasion of Okinawa during World War II. They had hoped to seize the island as a base that could be used as an assault platform for Japan. The battle would continue until June 22nd, killing nearly 250,000 people.
And in 1970, President Richard Nixon signed a measure that banned cigarette advertising on radio and television. The government determined advertisers had a responsibility to warn the public about the health hazards of smoking. Congress also passed the Cigarette Smoking Act, which required manufacturers to place warning labels on all of their products. In 1976, Apple Computer was launched from Steve Jobs' garage and is now the largest publicly traded company in the U.S.
I just love that. He and his buddies started this up in their garage.
Yeah.
Now it's one of the biggest companies in the world.
Awesome.
You know.
And in 1984, singer Marvin Gaye was shot and killed by his father after Gaye intervened in an argument between his parents. And in 1985, Nike released the first Air Jordan shoes and sold 450,000 pairs in the first month.
Some of those are worth many thousands of dollars.
Very popular too.
Yeah.
And lastly, in 2005, NASA celebrated April Fool's Day by telling the world that they had found water on Mars.
Just joking.
Just joking.
All right, today's birthdays include fighter and influencer Logan Paul, who is 31, country singer Hillary Scott from Lady Antebellum is 40, and Supreme Court Justice Samuel Alito is 76 today. Happy birthday to you also, if your birthday is today.
We'll turn things right back over to meteorologist Devin Biggs.
And thank you very much, Craig and Janessa. Happy Wednesday. Your first weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. We have a winter weather advisory that will last until 11 a.m. Wednesday for the counties. Highlighted here in the purple shade, some slippery roadways will be expected with a little bit of snow and some other frozen precipitation such as sleet and freezing rain passing through. We also have a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards our Thursday along the coast. Some high surf currently taking place too. Meanwhile, with the radar and satellite, you can see the frozen precipitation, snow to the north and other spots seeing some freezing rain. As we do move forward, we'll have some warmer temperatures which will allow things to improve. The last of the precipitation will be passing through this morning. As we do zoom things out, there is a last of it, so we'll be under a mostly cloudy sky coming up for the rest of the day as all of this tracks off towards the east. So futurecast moving forward, just clouds for the rest of the day. Later on tonight, not looking too bad. Then as we head towards your Thursday, looking pretty good as well. So your hourly forecast moving forward, we'll have clouds for the rest of the day. Temperatures in the 40s. Your full 5-day forecast is coming up. Craig and Janessa?
All right, sounds good. Thank you, Devin. Well, the Artemis 2 crew will have a guest aboard the spacecraft. This plush toy named Rise is a zero-gravity indicator. Let's take a look at that. A zero-gravity indicator is a plush toy that rides with astronauts to visually indicate when they're in space. NASA selected Rise from more than 2,600 designs submitted from around the world. The winning design came from second grader Lucas Yee, who lives in the San Francisco Bay Area.
Aww.
The rocket actually getting ready to blast off. I think it's tonight around 6:30.
I think
and
so.
It's part of their plan to return to the moon, so they're getting ready for all that.
So cool.
Yeah.
Well, still to come here this morning, Jack Webb with sports.
And we'll talk more about pizzas, one of my favorite subjects.
Me too.
Don't go away.
Give your home or business a clean slate. From roofs to carpets, siding to storefronts, we clean it all, inside and out. Locally owned, fully insured, and committed to quality. No job too big or small. Message us on Facebook at Clean Slate Services 207 or call 207-631-0500 for a free estimate. Clean Slate Services. Your property renewed.
Rowell's Garage has been serving customers in the greater Dover-Foxcroft region since 1946. Our goal is not just selling you a vehicle, but also giving you quality service to maintain your vehicle at peak performance. Browse our inventory online or in person. Whether it's a car, truck, or SUV, we can put you in the vehicle that is right for you. Sales, service, and parts. Rowell's Garage. Doing business the right way every day.
You provide it all. There's no challenge you can't take on, because you've already taken on everything. You've gone above and beyond. It feels like you've brought them together. It feels like your home is taken care of. It feels like you're all at the top of your game. And with Fidium Fiber Internet, you are.
It feels like Fidium.
My name is Rebecca Babrod, and I'm studying my master's in social work at the University of Maine. After high school, I went to college in upstate New York, but then got involved with life and family, so I had a college education, but no degree. When I first thought about going back to school, it seemed really intimidating. One of the great things about an online program is that you can combine studying as part of your day. I'm actually studying right now. It's such a great feeling to have made myself important in the process and to continue my education.
You know Matt pretty well. Did he give you any advice?
He said that I should use 26 words or more.
Weekdays at 9 on Fox 22.
Welcome back in, folks. Last week, Piscataqua Community High School held an athletic honors night to celebrate the accomplishments of their athletes. Among those teams was the boys soccer team, who celebrated their recent state championship. They received an awesome surprise. The Pirates broke a 41-year streak without a state championship this fall when they went undefeated and won the 8-person state title. Normally, when a soccer team wins a state championship in Maine, they're presented with one gold ball for the school, and each player gets a championship jacket. But head coach Trey Gilbert went above and beyond this year. Gilbert shocked the team with their championship jackets, but also each player receiving their own gold ball replica in championship ring.
Yeah, I'm just so grateful because, like, Trey, he's such a good guy and stuff, and he's going to go above and beyond to get this stuff for us, and I just couldn't be more happy.
Gilbert funded the gold balls and championship rings entirely out of his own pocket, hoping to give the team keepsakes that they will cherish forever. PCHS athletic director says he's never seen anything like it.
He does so much, just donating, his time financially just to the district over the years. It's incredible. I've never seen a site like this before. We've been planning this pretty much since the season got done, and he told me everything he wanted to do, and I'm like, holy smokes, if you want to, okay. And so I was glad we were able to pull off a big surprise for the kids.
I mean, that is just incredible. How cool for those kids. We'll head to the Diamond now, where the Maine baseball team was looking to keep the momentum rolling following their first series win last weekend. Black Bears visiting number 22 Boston College on a Tuesday afternoon. We pick it up top of the 7th. Maine down 1, but Chris Bear pops one up deep to right field, which allows a run to score, and it's tied at 3. Still in the 7th, Juju Stevens is going to step up to the plate and deliver for his team. He gets the man on third home safely, and just like that, the Black Bears have a 4-3 lead late in the game. Bottom of the 7th now. Here come the Eagles. Runners on second and third. Timon Olfe records the sacrifice grounder as the runner on third got a great jump on contact. BC ties it up at 4. Then in the 8th, the Eagles would pull away. A great piece of hitting by Danny Serwaic, and the Boston College Eagles come back to win 7-4. We'll stay on the Diamond now and check in with the Boston Red Sox, who are not having the start to the season that they and their fans had hoped for. After defeating the Cincinnati Reds 3-1 on opening day, the Sox have fallen in 3 straight games, slotting them in last place in the American League East. Their first 2 losses also came to the Reds. In games they lost by just 1 run. In their latest game, however, it was a different story. The Houston Astros routed the Red Sox 8-1 in a game where Jarren Duran was the lone run scorer on Monday night. The Astros scored 3 home runs. Red Sox manager Alex Cora says he's not terribly worried because of how young the season is, but they need to pick it up before it's too late.
Honestly,
can't say right now because it's only, 4 games into the season. But, can't chase in this league. That's how they make a living. Those guys on the mound, they get ahead and then they go to the edges. So we have to be better in that aspect.
Well, folks, they did not pick it up. The Sox struggles continued on Tuesday night. As you see right here, they fell to the Astros 9-2. Houston with 11 hits. The Sox just 4 and 2 runs crossing the plate, 2 errors as well on the defensive end. We bring it back to the East Coast, hoping to give you good news because the playoff hunt is on in the NHL as the season's winding down, making every game count for the Bruins. They played host to the Dallas Stars on Tuesday night. We picked this one up in the first period. A shot is ripped from the blue line because Nadinov is there to clean it up. That was a tough name right there to give the Bruins the lead. Bruins again in the first. Pasternak's going to pass. The puck finds him again. He puts it in front of the net where Victor Arvidsson taps in his 22nd of the year. Second period now. Stars are going to look to get back in it. The puck's going to be loose in front of the net. Kind of the story of the night. Jamie Benn is there to put it in and cut the lead in half. We're going to stay in the second after that Benn goal. It's the Stars looking to equalize. Now it's another opportunity right on the doorstep for Dallas. Matt Duchesne, he ties it up at 2. Then in the third, it would be all Bruins. Limholden, he's going to snipe it on the break as the Bees are heating up. They win 6-3. Bruins getting hot at the right time. You love to see it. That's all time for sports. We'll be right back after the break.
Purple is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co. Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
Let your creativity run free at the Creative Arts Center, where we offer fun and affordable activities for all ages. Birthday parties, pottery wheel classes, painting lessons, or just for the fun of it. Get fired up for glazing projects as well as acrylics. We offer a wide selection of ceramic products for you to choose from, and we have thousands of pieces ready to paint. We are a Paragon kiln dealer and a Laguna Clay distributor. Stop by the Creative Arts Center today, located just off the Joshua Chamberlain Bridge in Brewer. The Creative Arts Center, where your only limitation is your imagination.
I have a house payment, I have a car payment, I have a giant child who eats me out of house and home, so $300 for 2 cell phones in this economy? No. I didn't know Spectrum had mobile services. The cost, that's what sold me. You're saving so much money. It's for the everyday person.
Real customers, real savings. Visit spectrum.com/save1000 to learn how to save $1,000 guaranteed.
Mainers know what to do after an accident.
Call the experts.
Call Joe.
Over 25,000 victories for injured Mainers.
Fighting and winning for injured Mainers for over 50 years.
The law offices of Joe Bornstein.
The name you know and the firm you trust.
Representing injured Mainers in all 16 counties. Get Joe's team working for you today.
207 call Joe.
Or online at joebornstein.com.
Accidents happen. To be their specialty.
Tell them you made business.
Purple Co. is open and here to stay. Come join a growing community of like-minded people with monthly events, arts and concerts, daily deals, and the best products and prices in the state. Plus, don't miss Purple Co. Bangor's annual party on 4/18. Now with 4 locations from Portland to Bangor. Come check us out today.
Welcome back, everyone. We are joined once again by Mike Deneen, who is the general manager of Uno's Pizzeria and Grill. Mike, thanks so much for coming in and teaching us how to make pizzas today.
And you guys did a great job.
Thank you. So you guys have an event for National Deep Dish Pizza Day that's happening on Saturday.
Correct.
For people who want to go to that, what can they expect?
So it's a lot more drawn out than what we did today. So it starts at 12 o'clock in the afternoon on Saturday.
Okay.
And we start, our very first step is I introduce the history of Uno's, and then I have a volunteer make our deep dish dough right in the restaurant,
That's
right?
cool.
Like in the dining room. We move on from that and we make our homemade salad dressing.
Nice.
We then have the dough that's all set and ready to be formed. They get they form the partially baked crust.
Nice.
And then we bake that in the oven. During that time, they get a complimentary side salad, and they do get a complimentary beverage as well. And then when their pizza comes out, we let them choose their toppings.
Yeah.
So they build their own pizza just like we did today.
Yep.
We throw it in the oven, and it's a fun time. I'm hanging out with them. I'm not the general manager of Uno's there.
Right.
I'm just a guest like them. We have a great time.
Yeah, that sounds like fun. It sounds like a good event for even families. Kids probably
Oh yeah,
participate.
we had a Mother's Day event last year where we had families in and younger kids, and we've had a deep dish one where we have all ages. So
that's so fun.
It's hands-on. It's not boring with me talking the whole time.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
That's awesome. And you said it starts at noon. When does it run to?
So it runs until around 2 or 2:30,
Gotcha.
obviously depending on how fast things move along. Yep. And it's not me talking, like I said, it's not me talking the whole time. You can socialize with other people there or your friends that you're with.
And is this a ticketing event? Do people have to buy tickets in advance? How does that kind of work?
It is a ticketed event. We do accept walk-ins if somebody decides on that day, but it's easier if you go to our the site that we're selling the tickets through, which is eventbrite.com.
Okay.
It's $65 through the site, and you get all the things I included. So it's a lot. It's a lot more affordable than going out to eat as these days.
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Might be good for younger people too, because you're teaching them some skills they could use all their lives.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, and so what is some of that history that you teach them in the beginning of that class?
So a lot of people don't know, as I mentioned in our earlier set, is that Uno's was the inventor of deep dish pizza back in 1943.
Oh, wow.
The gentleman's name was Ike Sewell. So he invented it, opened up the first one in Chicago, and years later, a Boston restaurateur named Aaron Spencer, loved the pizza, loved the concept, and he wanted to buy him out. Created a chain.
Okay.
Tried to talk him into it. He said no for years. Finally said yes, and that's when the first one was opened in Massachusetts, and then started spreading around the country. Our Uno's in Bangor opened up in 1998.
Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool.
And it's so good too.
It is really good.
I've been kind of eating while
I
you guys
know.
are talking.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys make good pizza.
I know.
over there,
I need to grab a slice real quick if I can. Let's see.
What kind would you like?
This one, the one that you pulled from. Here we go.
There you go. And I'll just keep eating.
Yeah, that works. That works.
And as I said, all this, you think of chain restaurants and you think it's all frozen, pre-made product that we get. It's not. It's fresh dough, fresh cheese we shred, fresh vegetables we cut. Everything is fresh at Uno's.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You go through a lot of it too, I bet.
A lot of it. A lot of it. Yep.
Well, I'm going to do a quick taste test here. I'm sure it's delicious, but.
This is the breakfast of champions right here, if you ask me.
Pizza.
Good stuff, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, not bad. You are welcome to come back anytime you want.
Hey, I'm more than happy to.
Yeah.
All right, Mike, thank you so much.
All right, well, thank you for having me.
We'll turn things back over to Devin Biggs.
Alrighty, Craig and Janessa, thank you very much. Your full weather forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Give the gift of comfort through thoughtful planning with locations in Bangor, Bucksport, and Lincoln. Alrighty, here we go. That winter weather advisory will be dropping at around 11 a.m. this morning. We've had snow further off towards the north with other frozen precipitation such as freezing rain and sleet in other spots, rain further down toward the south as well. Also a small craft advisory lasting until 2 p.m. as we head towards your Thursday along the coast. Meanwhile, wave heights active at around 4 feet according to the buoys and a little bit higher farther off towards the north and east, while even farther out towards sea at around 8 to 12 feet. So the ocean definitely active out there as we head towards this morning. On land, you can see the frozen precipitation and the not so frozen precipitation. We have snow to the north, and there's that wintry mix of primarily sleet and freezing rain. Some normal rain could be mixing in as well, and perhaps a little bit of snow. All this right now is tracking off towards the east, so throughout the morning into the afternoon, things will begin to calm down, and the day will be improving, especially as temperatures warm up. So once we get this through, we'll see things improve before we get more activity moving in. But meanwhile, Futurecast moving forward. Again, we're going to get this out of here. We'll have some improvement lasting for a bit. But later on, as we head towards your Friday, here we are with more activity Friday morning. Another wintry mix of rain, freezing rain, sleet, and snow on the way for the state. This will be switching over to all rain as temperatures warm. But we won't get this out of here until about Saturday before things finally begin to improve. A little bit of snow farther off towards the north, but of course, ice will be another potential with with this system. So again, we will need to keep an eye on this system. So there's that snow potential. Well, it will be primarily to the north at this point, but again, we will be monitoring that system as well. Upper 40s today, the wintry mix will be ending, will be mostly cloudy with that north wind at around 20 miles per hour. Tonight, mid-20s under a mostly cloudy sky and that north wind at around 5 miles per hour. And for tomorrow, mid-40s, still mostly cloudy, northeast wind at around 5 miles per hour. And let's check out your extended forecast brought to you by Rogan's Memorials. Good Friday, a wintry mix switching over to all rain with highs in the upper 40s. Upper 40s again for your Saturday under a mostly cloudy sky. Easter Sunday, a chance for rain, highs in the mid-50s.
Need a driveway paved or an entire road surfaced? Give Eaton Paving and Excavation a call. Eaton Paving offers a full line of excavation packages, from new home projects to new and replacement septics and driveways. We also install new shoreland and do shoreland repairs. Our operators have more than 75 years combined experience, and we have been delivering quality, professional service for nearly 3 decades. We strive to exceed your expectations. Give us a call today at 207-348-5630 or visit us at eatonpaving.com.
Get ready for mowing season, for hauling season, and exploring season. Get ready for tearing it up, cutting it down, and working all around season. Because it's bad boy season, all year long. Bad boy, power, performance, attitude.
When I was 29, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I think part of research and advocating for more money for cancer research allows survivors to have more time. Senator Collins supports and advocates for more funding for cancer research so that people can have better treatments, they can have better outcomes, and therefore they can live better lives as cancer survivors. Thank you, Senator Collins. Continue fighting for our families.
It's the Masked Singer season finale!
Fox tonight, it's a night of firsts.
We're going to remove the voice filter.
So this has been an awesome experience.
Who is that?
America has known my identity from the start.
You guys had no clue. Everyone knew but us.
And the biggest clue will be revealed by someone famous and close to them. It's Khalid! Jessica Simpson! Are you kidding me? They will all be unmasked tonight.
The Masked Singer season finale, tonight on Fox.
Chicago Zoo has a few new members strolling through its habitats. 10 African painted dog pups are now venturing outdoors for the first time at the Brookfield Zoo. The large group of siblings is made up of 5 females and 5 males. The pups were born in late November and are already showing off their personalities with their parents. Caretakers at the zoo explain this is actually early training that would help the dogs build a tight-knit teamwork. Zoo officials say African painted pups change fur color from dark black at birth into a unique swirl of black, brown, gold, and white, with no 2 pups really looking exactly the same either. They, of course, have great skills that they learn how to hunt together out in the wild. Of course, at the zoo, they don't have to worry about that, but they still adopt some of those same skills that they basically are imprinted with at birth.
Their ears are so interesting.
Yeah.
Well, meanwhile, Dunkin' isn't joking around this April Fool's Day. The coffee giant confirmed it will carry on its tradition of giving away 1 million free hot or iced coffees today in honor of April Fools. Except this year, Dunkin' says it will give away 1,000,001. Dunkin' Rewards members can redeem the free drink on the app with code STILLNOTAJOKE. But fans better hurry. The promotion is capped at 1,000,001 coffee drinkers. The promo code is valid for up to 7 days after entry.
So go get yourself a free Dunkin' today.
I wish I remembered that was going on.
I think you need the app though, right?
I think so, I believe, yeah.
Check with the app, and maybe on the way home you can go get yourself that and eat it with your pizza.
My pizza, I know, my pizza's right here on the desk with me, but
so good
it
too.
is really good.
This time of day.
Oh, that's too
That's
funny.
about it for now. A story we'll be bringing up for you at noon on ABC 7 News at noon. We kind of ran out of time today. They had a big informational meeting in Waterville last night. They're talking about bringing a new Amazon warehouse to that area, right down near the Waterville Sydney town line. So this was the first chance for people to kind of learn about that project. And they're saying it's going to create maybe up to 200 jobs in the area.
That's good news.
So that's good news. And one of the good things about living close to one of those warehouse facilities, I know there's some people that will say some bad things too, because for whatever reason. But if you live close to it, your deliveries come
so quick.
Like you can order something, and within an hour or two, it's on your
there.
doorstep.
Yeah,
so that's not a bad thing.
Well, that's all the time that we have left for this morning. But as always, we thank you for joining us.
I'm going to go eat pizza now.
Me too.
More pizza. Thanks for being there, everyone. We hope you have a wonderful day.
Today on 25 Words or Less. If you recognize her from the TV show Scare Tactics, then congratulations. You're also over 40. It's Lauren Ash.